popping in. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those that may not know me, April and I will be your host tonight. And this is our regular Sunday night training. We call it our Fast Start training. And it's designed to help you get your week off to a fast start with your wellness business. Okay, that's what it's all about. And to keep you informed on things you may not be aware of, things that are going on with the company, and just a general reminder, just like we do sometimes with texting you to remind you to get on here on Sunday night, same type of thing. Before I get started, I just, most of you probably know this, but an industry and the leader passed away yesterday. And, a leader in our industry that was very, very young. She was only 35 years old. She had over 1 million customers and over 20,000 distributors in just 8 years of being in the business. Jessie Lee Ward was only 35 years old. And I think we'll all agree cancer sucks. Okay, I mean, there's just no room for cancer. It sucks. And she fought a good fight, and we didn't know her personally, but a lot of our friends did. And if you ever watched YouTube or any of these social media trainings, she was just fabulous and world renowned. So please keep her family, her fans, everybody in your prayers. Okay, she passed yesterday, so it's a sad day in our industry. But we have a lot to talk about tonight, folks, so please take some notes. I'm going to go to the slides right away, and then April will be doing the training tonight. I just got some announcements and stuff I want to cover with you. Okay, so tomorrow night, folks, is our launch, our collagen launch. Okay, and it's the topic tonight, what the training is going to be about is inviting. Okay, and it is the most basic thing that we do in our business. Okay, it's more important than personal development. It's more important than going to big gatherings or trainings. It's more important than anything that we do as a business owner in network marketing. We have to become a professional inviter. Okay, that's the key. You invite, it leads to enrollments. You invite again, it leads to enrollments. You invite, enroll, invite, enroll. And honestly, if that were all you ever mastered in this business, if it was the only thing that you mastered in this business, you could make a boatload of money. Okay, and I mean a boatload of money, because everything else in the business can be done for you or with you. Chances are, once you become a master inviter in the business, you're going to learn to develop a team. You're going to learn to train a team. You're going to care about personal development. You're going to take on the other aspects of the business that are important. But a lot of us, we can get sidetracked with, I call it, all the non-revenue producing things in our field, in our profession, and get real busy and do nothing and earn nothing. And before we do any of those things, we want to become really, really good at inviting. Now, how do you do that? Well, April's going to talk to you a little bit about that, but obviously you create desire in other people to want to take a look or take a peek at what you got. And there's many ways to interest somebody in taking a look at what you got, or inviting them to join you on something you're doing. Okay, like a Zoom, or, attend an event at a hotel or something. So, that's going to be the topic for tonight. Now, tomorrow night is our launch. Okay, we do it once a month, and it's been getting bigger and better and bigger and better 3-4 months in a row now. And you can see the numbers on there. I've showed this to you for the last few weeks, okay, so that you can understand. We want you, whether you've been involved in the business for 1 hour, okay, or 15 years. I think that's the total age of the company. No matter what amount of time that you've been in, you want to attend this event tomorrow night and have some guest watching it with you. Okay, that's your homework for the next 24 hours. Don't watch the Zoom tomorrow night alone. We call it, I fondly call it, the screen, and you'll see when we go back at the end, it looks like the Hollywood Squares. Now, if you don't know what the Hollywood Squares is, then I'm dating myself, okay, and how old I am. But since I'm a 70s music fanatic, I think you probably know how old I am. So, you know, it is, the Hollywood Squares is the most important thing in today's age of network marketing, is somebody has an opportunity to be in and on the movie with you. So do we record it? Yeah, we record everything, okay? Do people watch the recording afterwards? Not many, not like they used to, okay? You can send recordings out all day long, and the problem is there's so much live material on every day that they never have time to get with the, you know, the recordings, okay? So you have to make it important enough. You're going to be there with them, and you want them to be a member of the Hollywood Squares. In other words, you want them to see themselves on screen. You want them to see the excitement in other people. You want to witness it live. And I've always used the example of having the opportunity of being invited to the Super Bowl to see it live on Sunday night in February when they do it, or watching the replay of the game on Monday when you already know the final score. Two different things, right? Nowhere near the attendance going to watch a replay as had the opportunity to see it live, whether it was in person or on TV. And that's the way you need to treat our business. That's the way you need to treat these launch Zooms when we do them. So new guests are the key. That's your homework between tonight and tomorrow. There's no limit to how many you get on. We will give a prize to whoever gets the most, okay? We're going to check with the company, see if they'll let us do a few things. We don't know right now, but there'll be a prize for whoever gets the most. Last month, our high was 65. Okay, so we're looking to go anywhere from 75 to 100 tomorrow night. And like I said, it's been very effective. Lots of customers have joined. Lots of consultants have joined. And guess what, folks? If you invite someone and they join the business because they watched a Zoom, guess what? They're going to get everybody they know to watch the Zoom. And it gets pretty exciting when you can earn money and all people need to do is watch a Zoom. Now, do we need to attend a live event once in a while? Well, sure. We have a brand new, and I haven't had a chance to talk to her or meet her in person, but there's a young lady from the Atlanta area named Teresa who's on tonight, and she joined the business with a business pack and has 3 free nights coming to her. She got involved with Kenneth Andreessen either a few hours before an LVA started in Atlanta or the evening before. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she had the opportunity to attend live and see Mark Shinsato and Jason Kakenzi live in Atlanta. Well, there's no substitute for that, okay? I mean, that's just amazing. And just like being in San Antonio in a few weeks is amazing, but our day-to-day activity involves, okay, getting people to see videos, do things online, watch Zooms, or obviously you're meeting with them one-on-one. So anyway, a reminder tomorrow night, it's 8:30 Eastern that we do it. It's the same number as this link, okay? So I've given you the link, but it's the same number, okay? That's the number that we use for our team stuff. So it's the same one, but let me switch screens. Okay, one thing I want to take a moment, and I hate doing this. I don't like talking about ourselves. Okay, it's not my thing. But what I want to point out, and I want you to listen to when April's talking, we just made the trip to Punta Cana a second time. And you say, well, why is that important, or why does it matter? Well, there's always two ways to make a trip, okay, when the company does these annual trips. One is you're either an executive or an elite distributor, and you have the opportunity to earn points by creating sapphires and diamonds that you sponsor. Okay, so the first way that we got on the trip was, and that's developing your team. Okay, it has nothing to do with you personally. Okay, that's anyone on your team that you sponsored that reaches the sapphire level or diamond level. You get points each month that they achieve that, and you have an opportunity to get on the trip. And another thing that comes into play is attendance of events, of main corporate sponsored events like Global. Well, you've heard us talking about having a team goal of having 50 people, okay, at Global from the team, okay, from our team there. You've heard us talk about that. Well, having 25 there got us the points to also, count towards the trip, because it was 25 to 50 is how you got the points. So we were targeting 50, knowing if we ended up with 40 or 45, we'd still get the points. So that's one way to get on. Your team becoming sapphire and diamond distributors and the folks that you enrolled, okay? The second way to get on the trip is the way most people do, and that's enrolling customers and becoming a sapphire or diamond distributor in the company, okay? So you get points from enrolling customers, for starters, and then you get points on their repeat orders, their subscriptions, and then you also get points from yourself becoming sapphire and or diamond. Well, we did it both ways, and as of the other day, we were the only people in the world with the company that had done that. And I'm not saying there's not another one or two, but they didn't know of it. Okay, so we were proud of that. Okay, that we had done it from a leadership standpoint, and we're still working the business day to day and got on that way also. So why is that important? Why does it matter? It leads into, okay, the inviting. Okay, everyone always asks, and it it never goes away. This has been the question for 31 years. In October, we'll be here 6 years, okay, with LifeVantage. We were with our first company for 25 years. And the most commonly asked question, okay, I know what you say. I hear you from stage. I hear you on, used to be conference calls. Okay, what's the secret? The secret is there is no secret. That's the secret. There is no secret. You invite well enough so that you can enroll. Once you get good at enrolling, you focus back on inviting, and then you enroll more, and then you teach others to do it. That's the secret. Okay. And I can't think of anyone better. Okay. April is as good as it gets at doing this. And the reason I say that, there's people that enroll more, but they have a niche. They may own a salon, they may be a doctor, they may be experts at doing it, have some sort of niche that they have mastered. And what I like about, I say April, but how we pursue things is we pursue things always. We never miss an opportunity to share what we own and what we know. And that could be online, that could be in person, that could be whatever, but April has mastered it. And with that, April, I'm going to stop sharing mine and turn it over to you.
Cool, thanks. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, we're going to talk about inviting. And the cool thing is, we have an event tomorrow. You've heard me talk about events, invite to event, even if you make up your own event, if it's coffee or lunch or whatever. But we do have an event this is actually the best time, the day of, to invite, because people will either say yes or no. They're either committed or not. They got the time. They're likely to still remember it. If they made the promise, it's still fresh on their mind. So it's actually a really, really good time to be inviting. You know, one of the things that I hear as I'm sponsoring new people into the business is a lot of times people perceive that they don't have a database, or, people in their phone or on Facebook that are, maybe candidates for the business. They feel like they don't know anyone. That I hear that a lot. I don't know anyone. And I want to just remind you, any leader and anybody that's been around in the company for a while, any leader, if you ask them, who's in their company, who are the big sponsors, the big recruiters, who's doing all the business, it is not people they knew prior to the company. I mean, if I look at our first line, our first level, whatever you want to call it, none of those people were from our life previously. Not a one of them. So I wanted to talk to you, and Bobby, I apologize, I don't have slides. We just talked about this about 2 hours ago. I was going to do something else, but we felt with the launch, and maybe this was more of a priority, but I'm going to kind of take you through my day and, what I do, and how I go about what I'm going to say is collecting people. And so one of the best things you can get, well, there's a couple things. I'm going to narrow it down to maybe 5 things. One of the best things you can do is be some kind of a list builder. If you can go through the people, and you've probably heard this, and I'm not saying that for any other reasons, but the science behind it. And it really comes down to how you think about your approach to recruiting. So if you have a list of people, and this list will come from all different things. When I look at my desk, I've got old Rolodex cards. I've obviously got my phone. I've got Facebook. I've got my calendar for tomorrow, people I'm calling. So there's all these type of lists that are going on, that I'm talking to people that I've built over time. Doesn't mean I'm going to reach out to them, but I have lists. And so when I get to something like the event tomorrow, I can easily go down my list and just shoot the text, or which is how I do most of my business these days. So it's made life a whole lot easier. I'll shoot a text, how you doing, warm them up a little bit, and then invite them to the event. If you have to sit there and think about who you know and who you're going to call, you've probably forgotten more people than you're going to remember. It takes a lot more time, and the anxiety kind of creeps in, because you're like, oh, who should I call? I know I'm supposed to call, she or he said, and depending on who's teaching you, 2, 3, 5 people a day, whatever it is, that takes a lot of time. We're all super busy. So if you've got lists that you can go down, and what happens is, it doesn't necessarily need to be an event, but somebody may have just told you a story about something, some remarkable results somebody got with one of our products, or maybe it's a new product or whatever. All of these lists will help you. So you'll have lots of names, and I'm going to talk about how we actually expand that list. But again, they may come from, I'm big on collecting for texting these days, collecting phone numbers. That's how I'm doing a lot of my business, but I still have an email list. I still have, like I said, Rolodex cards. I have my phone. I actually have folders still. I have all of this because I've continued to collect data over the time. So if you do anything, get really good at collecting emails, phone numbers, Facebook contacts. All of that is going to be super, super important, because to me, that's going to limit the anxiety when you sit down and you go to recruit. We are always going to be expanding our list. That's your business. I mean, we are in networking. And so, it's not that you're going to necessarily recruit the person that day. A lot of times I connect phone numbers, emails and stuff, not for the purpose of, throwing up all about our opportunity, but just so that I can drip on them, so I can create that relationship. Maybe I warm it up a little bit. Maybe if they're local, I can then, go to coffee or lunch or whatever it is. But you need to be collecting. And at this point, we all know so many people, but the more you collect and the more people you have in that database, it just allows more things to happen, because it allows you to build a relationship. And you know what? Then it doesn't feel so spammy. It's always like they'll say something and you'll say, you know what, I might have something that'll help you. Or I just heard this story that I think you would be really excited to hear about. And you just kind of regurgitate that story, or you just send them an invite via text. It takes all the emotional out of recruiting. And I think that's where people get really stuck, when you have to do that face to face and feel like you have to do it really quickly. So we went to Ruth Crisp on Friday night. We went to happy hour. That's where we went. And I really had a really, really busy week. And I really was kind of just looking forward to my glass of wine. Can anybody relate? The girls going to San Antonio? But anyway, I was focused on my glass of wine. And wouldn't you know, as soon as we go there, the valet says, wants to know about our Jeep. We took the Jeep, says biohacker on it, wanted to know about biohacker. And, even I, so focused, and I've taught myself over the years, so focused on that glass of wine, I forgot to get his phone number. Now I took out the card that, Allison and her sister had made,
The postcard.
the postcard with all the collagen. So not even appropriate for him. He was a young guy and stuff, but I just said, look, here's my contact and I'll follow up with you and get more stuff. But I didn't get his phone number. So I had to get his phone number on the way out. But that's what I do. I'm always looking to get, even when I give that card out, I'm always looking to get phone numbers.
Tell him what he did while we were in.
And while we were in, he calls his mom and he says his mom's very interested in the product too. She can't even see the card. So that was really cool. But you see, that doesn't always happen, but that allows stuff to happen. So, some of this stuff, just connecting with people. And again, my focus was on getting that wine. It was not on making a contact at that point, but we need to be aware of this stuff and have enough of this stuff going on so that, things just happen there. So that's kind of raising our awareness. So when I think back to when we first got involved in the industry, and again, this is 31 years ago, we had a weight loss product. And I make a lot of parallels to that weight loss product and this collagen, because there was a before and after. And, I just feel like I've become a student of this whole industry and things that go on, but I see a real correlation between that weight loss product and what's going on with our collagen, because you can see the before and after. And when we got involved, I tell you, I was just like so gung-ho. I was literally throwing up on people. When I think about it, I'd go to the drugstore, CVS, if you have one of those by you, or a Walmart, and I'd see somebody picking up, I even forget the name of it. There was a popular weight loss product at that point.
Slim Fast or one of those.
Slim Fast, yeah. And I mean, I'd just barge in there in front of them, and you don't want that. This is so much better. And ours was easily 3 to 4 times more expensive than that. But I had tunnel vision with what I was doing. Did that work? No. But you learn from those experiences. But, again, raising your awareness to be open to hearing when people say, oh, I need to lose weight. I mean, how many times has somebody talked to you and said, oh, I need to lose weight, and you just let it go? Instead of saying, I might have something that'll help you with that. Or I don't like the way my face looks today. I might have something that'll help you with that. My mom's got a lot of joint pain. I might have something that'll help you. I can't tell you how often, because that allows me just to collect the number or the email address, shoot them a video. I'm not really even personally involved. I might have something that'll help you. It's kind of like when we text somebody and we say, no worries, no worries. We're not personally engaged in it, but we're able to get the information out to them. Now, which video? Just send whatever video you like. I mean, that's the best thing I can say. You should have in your notes, have a Protandem video, Tri-Synergizer, have a collagen one. But this is learning your skill set. So as soon as we walked into Ruth Chris, we weren't 5 steps in, and I turned to Bobby and I said, I didn't get his number, because it's so ingrained over time. I just am I have to collect numbers. So if I do nothing when I meet a person, and it's funny because typically Bobby's our introducer, he likes to talk to everyone. And I have a very direct path. It's to get their number. If nothing else, I want their number so I can continue to drip on them, because people aren't going to make a decision. They may be on the beach. They may be wherever they are. They're not looking at an opportunity at that moment. Just like that, I didn't know that guy might be focused on an opportunity, just like I was focused on that wine. I don't know what other people are thinking. There may have been somebody sitting at that bar that we didn't talk to that's just, praying that, some kind of opportunity would fall in their lap. But we just don't know that. So that's the part that leads into don't prejudge. So if you just give a little information out there to somebody, and, it may be for them, it may not. And you can even say that, hey, I don't know if this is for you, but it'd be on me. I'd be bad if I didn't offer this to you. If it's not for you, fine, no worries. That's how simple it needs to be. But you just don't know. I mean, I go back to us. Nobody knew that we needed an opportunity. Nobody knew Bobby's business was going out of business. We had a nanny in the house. We had new cars. We had a huge, big new house. You would have never, ever guessed that, we were worried about, what Bobby was going to do and what his next step was going to be. I had a great job. I mean, you would have thought everything was fine, but you just don't know. So if you throw it out there and say, hey, I might have something of interest to you, maybe somebody else that, and that's the other part of when you drip on enough people and collect enough people and you friendship with people, when they like you, they offer to help you. I woke up to a great text this morning. One of my customers she was a distributor in our business years ago. She's gone on to do some other real estate stuff, done it really, really well. But she never hesitates when somebody talks to her about the collagen to say, my friend April has the best collagen and I'm going to put you in touch with her. That's the stuff you want to know. Like, I know that she uses our products. I know she doesn't want to do the business, but because we're friends, she offers the referral all the time. So whether you go out, for me, it's tennis, playing on a lot of tennis leagues now, because I meet a lot of people, a lot of women that, maybe they're either having joint pain or the sun is killing our faces or whatever it is. So, you just want to be around as many people as you can so that you can collect numbers, let people know, just a little bit about what, going on, raise that awareness, use your products in front of them and stuff. Again, when I look back to our one of our first big increases in our checks years ago happened to be with the doctors. And, I can remember even the owner of the company saying, you are not going to get doctors to do multi-level marketing. And I'm like, it's a perfect niche. They see more people on it. And Jay is fact. She's been around with us for 25 years. I mean, they saw more people. They had continuing ed credits. They were still doing hospital rounds. And they generally were people out at night, parties, the whole bit. So, they saw more people than a nail salon or a gym that everybody else was chasing back then. So, we have to make sure we don't prejudge. We put it out there, let them know what's going on. But do make sure, just like we did with Ruth Chris, and you've heard the stories, we're probably boring you to death. If it's not the beach, it's a bar. We purposely sit at the bar, even when we order dinner and stuff, because there's one person on either side of us. Even going into Ruth Chris, we sat at the bar. There was a couple. There were, I think it was 3 or 4. No, there were 4 chairs. And we could have just sat in the middle too. You know how you like to have a chair empty on either side. You don't purposely want to be close to one. Our pastor makes fun of this. He's like, I can have 600 seats, but there's probably only enough for 300 because you all need an empty seat next to you or something, type of thing. But people would have sat in the middle of the 4. I mean, on one side or the other. We sat next to somebody as opposed and left 2 open, as opposed to sitting in the middle and leaving seats empty on either side, because there wouldn't be just one person. So, you need to get out and collect those numbers and friendship and, just figure out a reason why you need to get their phone number, something that came up in the conversation. It could be a recipe. It could be where you got the decaling on the car, where you got your chairs, where you got your grill. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be, the grip on my racket. You got to make an excuse or reason to be just collecting all of this data information. And then you can expand your network. And then it's not based on who you know today. It'll take you into who you don't know today and build your big company. So anyway, that I think the other thing we should think about, and maybe we'll talk about this another time, is, how you recruit. There's a saying out there, people, and I go through this a lot. I'm trying to think how to phrase this. It's kind of like the fish pond effect. You need big bait to get a big person. So like when we went into the doctor's office, we would give full size product. So if there's somebody, maybe it was a tennis pro or something, I want to give full size product. I want that person to get results, because even if they don't do the business, they become my cheerleader. So think about who you know that might not do the business, but could be a cheerleader for you. Those are invaluable. So, that's just a thought on that. Obviously you have to give them product, but does it matter if you paid for advertising or you gave somebody product so that they can get some great results, particularly with the collagen? It's so obvious when people are using the collagen, everybody's getting such great results. Figure out who you know that has a circle of influence in your market already, and just say, hey, I know you're not going to do the business, but I really want you to have this product. I really want you to get these results. They'll become you, because people love to get stuff for free too. That's the flip side of that. So then they feel like they've got to give something back. There's a whole psychology behind that. So that's just a little thought on, kind of what I do every day and how I
just give them a couple opening lines or lines they can use to invite for tomorrow night's launch. Some one-liners, questions, would you mind? Did you know? Just some of that stuff.
Yeah. I might, if it's totally cold at this point, I might say, I'm super excited about this collagen product I've been using. I'd love you to be able to see some of the results that are going. I might put a link in there to something so they can see some benefits, but, would you be open? And I don't put the link in there. Would you be open to joining us tonight or tomorrow? And if they say yes, then I'll shoot them over the link. So this way I know who responds, who I expect to be on. And then, like we've done before, the follow-up, you assume that they were on. Even if you know for a fact they weren't on, you assume that they were on that call. You follow up assuming, what did you love best about, the Zoom? And then they'll apologize for not being on. No worries, I can send you the recording. When can you watch it? So there's this whole follow-up that once you get used to, you just don't get dumb questions too, and it makes it very easy. And again, it takes all the feelings out of it, so you don't have that anxiety of trying to recruit. But I just ask people, if you're open to taking a look, I'm excited about this product. I got great results, and I feel like I have to share it with you. I just know you're going to love it. Would you be open to taking a look, at the Zoom tomorrow night?
The one thing, folks, that I've always found, it doesn't hurt. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, and you never want to think, or anyone thinking, that you know more than they do, because then they think they need to know what you know in order to do what you do. So you always want to dummy it down. You always want to be a little bit innocent, a little bit naive, a little bit, always non-threatening. Okay, you always need a smile on your face. I mean, it's, you heard April say, I'm the icebreaker. Well, I'll work my way through any room or the beach or anything and meet everybody. Okay. And I like to talk about a third party. That's, you develop a style or a niche, and I would rather tell everyone else's story than my own. I said that when I was talking about the 2 trips. I don't like doing that. I like to brag about other people. Okay. That's what I like to do. So the way I kind of do it when I'm starting, let's say with cold market, whether we were at Ruth Chris or we were at the beach or at a ball game or whatever, it could be pickleball, it could be anything. I love to tell what other people have done or experienced in regards to our business. Okay, that's what I love to do. And even though most of the time I could use the word I or we did that, okay, most of the time I don't use that. Okay, I always say, my friend just told me, I just spoke to somebody, I just saw something on Facebook, I just saw something. Instead of inserting me in, now if they ask, have you ever tried it, or do you use it, or is that something you do? I said, yeah, that's my profession, that's what I do. Or yeah, I've been using it. You think my face is bad now? You should have seen it 3 months ago before the collagen. I'll make a joke about it. I'll laugh about it. I want to be non-threatening with people so that they open up. And, over the last 2 months, I've started playing with complete strangers, with pickleball at night. And it's a little weird for me, even though I am very open to talking to people. It was a little weird because I'm used to April being at my side, but She's on 5 tennis teams now. Okay, so if I wanted to play pickleball 4 or 5 times a week, I'm on my own now. Okay, she's doing tennis, so I got to do that. But you know what? Then that's 10 different opportunities to meet new people, right? I mean, think about that. If we're not together, that's that much more. And folks, it could be anything. But the one thing I want to remind you of, your head needs to be ready to do business. And what I mean by do business is give or get a number, a name and number, anytime, anywhere. Like when we were walking into Ruth Chris, the guy said, "Hey, what does that biohacker thing mean on the Jeep?" And I said, "Oh, that's our business. We're in a wellness anti-aging business." And he said, "Wow, that's cool." And I said, "I think my wife may have a postcard she can give you. It'll have our contact information." And then April took over from there. We tag team people, you know, we just kind of, but guess what? I know April always has those cards in her purse. She would never go anywhere without those cards. They're in her car and they're in her purse. Okay, so she would never go anywhere. And even though she didn't ask for his number as we were going in, she asked for it as we went out, and he had already called his mother. Well, his mother's probably our age because he looked like our kid's age. Okay, so the mother's probably the one we want to talk to anyway. Okay, so what I want you to understand is don't ever go anywhere without being prepared if somebody should comment or ask you a question. Are you prepared to respond? If you're pumping gas into your car and the person on the other side of the pump happens to say something, are you prepared with a one-liner, 1 or 2-liner, to say something that person can now go in your database? Okay, I'll use Facebook and Instagram all the time. I'll just say, if I don't have a card or so, I have my backup plans, okay? They're not getting away from me, okay? There's just no way. And if the conversation didn't get warm enough for me to ask for a phone number, I'll just say, "Hey, are you ever on Instagram or Facebook?" And they'll say, "Yeah." I say, "How are you listed?" And right then and there, I'll friend them. You know, right then and there on the spot, friend them. I say, "Hey, accept my friend," and I can tag you in a group where, you know, what we were talking about. You can read more about it. But I'm going to get a way to reach them, just like April. We have different styles. But what I want you to think about is, if somebody asked you a question while you're waiting online in the supermarket, do you have a one-liner? Do you have it? Okay, and what I mean by have it, is it embedded in your head so that it comes out naturally and flows, and you don't fumper around like somebody that doesn't know what the heck they're talking about? See, they're looking for relaxed. They're looking for a smile. They're looking for a friendly face. And when you say something that's very friendly back to them, when they say something to you, the wall goes down. They open up. They're open to talking to you. Okay, you were a smiley face that said something, you know, nice. You know, one of the ladies that plays pickleball at night, she's a recruiter, and a high-level recruiter for corporate. And I don't really think I want her in my business, but she knows a zillion people. Okay. And we're now comparing notes, because we play at 8 o'clock at night. We're comparing notes to the conversations we had with people during the day. And she's starting to relate to what I do. And she's the one that fills up the courts. I'm just somebody that got invited to play and show up every night. Okay. But she's always bringing new people. And now she's starting to refer to me as an online marketer, the wellness guy, she's starting to refer to me in terms of business. Hey, that's good. Now I don't need to say it. Someone else, remember April said you need a fan? It's good to have a fan. Well, she knows what I do, and it's becoming part of her introduction. See, that's what April meant. Okay, so I don't need to say anything. And then they say, hey, she said you do some sort of wellness stuff. Well, what exactly do you do? And now I can elaborate, a little bit more because they asked. So let's do this homework because April will elaborate more on this next week, and we'll get into the recruiting aspect of things. But as we approach global, okay, I'm going to say it again. If you're not registered and planning on being there, change your plans. Okay, you need to be there. Okay, I don't care how you get there, you need to be there. Okay, when there's not going to be another global event for 18 months, okay, that's a long time. That's a lifetime in this business. So do your best to be there. Okay, but the most immediate, we have 3, 4, 5 things a month where we got to kind of ratchet up the activity a little. We got to really focus in and make the most of a 24-hour window. Well, that's now. Okay, that's between now and it's 8:40 now. Tomorrow night at 8:30 is 24 hours from now. What you do between now and this time tomorrow night is the most important 24 hours in the month of September for your business. Why? We only do it once, and it's tomorrow night. So you want to invite people to be on tomorrow night. It's that simple. It's the most important thing you could do with the next 24 hours that you have. And then after that, we go back to regular routine. Okay. But we are there right now. Okay. We're in that window. So you want to take advantage of it. I mean, think about it, folks. You don't have to do the Zoom. You don't have to do the presentation. You could talk about the people who are doing the presentation. You can make fun of the people doing the presentation. You could say, if a dummy like that can do it, can you imagine what you could do? You could say anything you want about it, and all you got to do is get eyeballs watching it. You can praise the people. You can pick on the people. You could say, if those former New Yorkers could do it, anybody could do it. They didn't even go to college. You could say anything that you want. Agree with them if they say something nasty, say, yeah, but look, even though, blah, 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 they still made $15 million in this industry, not counting LifeVantage. Okay, you get to do anything you want, and all you need to do is invite. That's why it's the most important thing, folks. You got to master the invite, and then the recruiting comes, the enrolling. We call it enrolling now. We used to call it recruiting, but the enrolling comes. And it's back and forth. Invite, enroll, invite, enroll, invite, enroll, and then teach teammates to invite and enroll. And it's the easiest business you'll ever do if you'll keep it simple. Now, I'm not going to say you can't make it hard, because you can. Okay, you can certainly make it hard, and you can get involved in doing everything that you can imagine that does not pay money in this business. You can figure out how to do it. You could read 1 million books. I'm not against reading books, but if you only got an hour a day to spend with the business, you can't spend the hour a day reading the book. You got to spend the hour inviting people. Okay. It all depends on the time that you have. Okay. And how do you figure if you're doing the right thing? Well, I think there's only one way to do that. And we need to be honest with ourselves. Just look at last month and say, how many people did I enroll in the business? And based on that number, how many people did I invite in order to have that number? See, the number of people invited to take a look leads to the enrollments. So you got to know what that ratio is. In the beginning, you need to develop the ratio. But you got to look and say, okay, I didn't get anyone last month. Okay, well, obviously, I need to invite more people. I only got 2 last month. Well, I'm not happy with 2. Okay, then I need to get better at inviting more people. And you learn your ratio, and then you go from there. Okay, and then it really becomes easy, because there'll come a time when you realize, okay, for every 15 people or every 20 people I invite, I'll get one. And then you know how many you need to invite in order to get one. And then it gets a lot easier. Then it's just math. And remember, April says it takes the emotion and the anxiety out of the equation. That's how you take it out of the equation. You learn your ratio. So pedal to the metal, folks. We're going to open it up for any questions now, but between now and this time tomorrow night, pedal to the metal with invitations. Let's fill up the Zoom, let's make some of our guests get blocked out and not be able to get on. Where does that happen? That happens at 100. Okay, our account holds 100 people. We want to get people blocked out. You know what happens to the people that try and get in and can't because it's filled? Man, they are the best prospects you'll ever have in your life, and they didn't even see it because they did not get on in time and they missed it and it was full. There's a fear of loss that comes with that creates an unbelievable desire to learn, what did they miss? What in the world filled up that Zoom that I missed it? Okay, so let's try and make people miss it. Okay, that's my thing. Let's hey, 75 is the goal, but why not just go to 100 and make people miss it so that we can have some fun with those people with letting them know what they missed. So if you got a question, April, you want to add anything? Are you good?
No, I'm good. It looks like Debbie may have a question. She's got her hand
Whoever,
raised.
unmute if you have a question and just go for it.
Okay, this is Debbie in North Carolina. Two things. Y'all have mentioned your postcard a lot. Is there a template that, we
Yes,
could
there
get?
is. I will send me a message or April a message and I'll send you the template.
Okay, all right. And then about tomorrow night, with your tips, April, hopefully some other people are thinking the same thing. For folks that you do know that maybe you haven't chatted with and you're like, how are you doing? And you're chatting a little bit, how do you pivot to asking them if they'd like to, get some information about something I'm excited about tomorrow without maybe seeming like, well, wow, that's why you called, or that's why you you are interested in
Go ahead, April.
how I'm doing.
Yeah. Again, I'd get back to just saying I love this and I thought I had to share it with you. The other thing you're going to have is you're going to have a lot of people that you've probably invited previously. You probably have a list of people I continue to drip on them and just saying, hey, we're having another one, and send it back out. So try not to do that where you at the very last minute call them and invite them, though. I do warm them up a little bit. How you doing? How's your job? How's the kids? We talk a little bit. And that's the active part of friendshipping many people. So if you have those lists, you can go down and just, drop little things on people and have some comments back and forth and stuff. So that's why the list is very important. It's not meant for you to sit down and recruit straightforward. It's to keep those friendships going, keep dripping on people. And occasionally, like I just sent out an email, a text to my database. It was based on a story somebody got with results from the collagen. It wasn't a straight out recruit thing. It was just look at the results people are getting. And that's been my approach, super low key. But I just keep a lot of people that I friendship with.
Deb, I use two different angles with that. We're kind of at the 2-minute warning of the game right now. The event's tomorrow night, so we're at the 2-minute warning. So what you can do is you can always say something, hey, sorry for the short notice, but I just found out. So you can always say, I just found out, okay, and that's the short notice. And then I like this one, and it's worked for me. Okay, I always say, look, I just found this out, and I would feel really guilty if I didn't at least let you know that I found it out. And I say it in my New York drawl and undereducated self way, okay, because that's the other thing. It needs to sound like Bobby talking. I can't be a doctor talking, okay? I need to be me, and that way they know it's me. Okay, that's how they know. So those are a couple things when it's short notice. You say, hey, I just found out and I didn't want to leave you out. I felt it was important to tell you in your own words, Steph.
Right.
Okay? In your own, it's got to be you. Don't use my words or April's words unless you grew up on New York like we did, okay? Then maybe you can get away with that. But other than that, use Debbie's words, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Who else? Anyone else? Questions or ideas? Give me a show of hands if you're going to make a real honest attempt at having some guests on tomorrow night. Raise your hands. Okay. it's, you know, if you're in this business, you're gonna, and again, some people have been in the business for 24 hours. Some have got 30 years experience like me and April, but you got to learn to know when to turn the heat up, like when it's like really important, you know, like the end of the month. Okay. The end of the month is really, really important in this business. And you can add 20, 30% to your volume in the last couple of days, but only if you did things early in the month that you can parlay into something bigger. Okay, so there's certain times, but I see Juanita Mitchell, do you have your hand up? I see your raised hand. Unmute yourself, Juanita, and we can answer your question.
No, I was raising my hand to say, yes, I will be. I just invited someone
Oh,
today.
yeah, okay.
Good for you.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask a question.
I get
don't
it.
do
You have your picture up there, so you raised your hand. I got it. Okay.
Well, I don't use social media as much, so I'm not that savvy as to how to use it. I mean, I can use social media, but as far as promoting everything, but what can
Juanita,
I not
your
use?
phone and the names in your phone are more valuable than social media will ever be. If
I
they
agree.
manage to get their name in your phone, they are good candidates to be invited.
Okay, so I'll be sending all of them in my phone, the actual flyer that you had on tonight. All
With
right.
a nice, kind word that says something personal about how you know them. Just don't
Absolutely.
spam them. Don't spam them. Say something kind, or, you know, and, you know, you'll love what happens if you take a little extra time and make it personal and say something that they know that you're thinking of them. It wasn't just a copy and paste. And even if you only got 20 or 30 invites out instead of 50 or 60, you'll be more productive.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but thank you for the reminder. And I am a New Yorker, so I'll be thinking of it. I get it. All right, appreciate y'all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, we're going to see you in less than 24 hours again. So, but we're hoping to see the screen filled up with people we've never seen before, and had the side column of participants with a bunch of phone numbers and names we've never seen before. So let's make the most of the next 24 hours. And we're at the midway point, you know, in the month. What I like about doing the launch, you know, somewhere between the 15th and 19th, somewhere in that range, is we get the last 2 weeks of the month, not only to get them started, but to get them moving, okay, to help them make their first dollar in the business. Because it's not about getting them in, it's about getting the first transaction closed under them so they earn their first dollar, so they see the cycle work. That's what it's about. And when you get them started in the middle of the month, you got a chance of getting that first dollar earned by the end of the month. And that goes a long way in this business. So have a great evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Get on a little bit early tomorrow night, you know, try and log in at least 5 minutes before so you don't get blocked out, but otherwise we'll see you then. Have a good night. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
I have a question, Bob.
Go ahead.
Is tomorrow more about learning about all the product or just the collagen, or about becoming a consultant?
It's going to be focused on collagen and Protandem. And if it's a Canadian question, April will definitely mention the Tri-Synergizer, because I know you guys just got NAD up there. So you now have the full Tri-Synergizer. But the first 15 minutes is going to be collagen, Protandem, Tri-Synergizer. The second 15 minutes is going to be about the business.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.